Here's a topic from a recent episode of the Powercat Podcast.
From El Camino Cat, what should K-State fans expect from David Castillo next season? 24/7 Sports lists him as a combo guard, and it looks like he played the 2 for most of the EYBL season for Sunrise Christian. Is he a quote-unquote true point guard?
Yeah, he is. Jacob Pullen was too. But we remember the offensive output. And I think that's a steep comparison. But I think there's probably a good comparison to be made there in terms of how they could impact the team. Remember this, Jacob came in with that great group of Bill Walker and Michael Beasley, and he started as a freshman point guard, and he sucked for a while. Frank chewed on him like he was beef jerky. And so he learned as he went. David's not going to have that opportunity. Anymore in college basketball, if you're starting a true freshman point guard, you might get fired because he's going to be going against grown-ass men. And this gives him, with Doug McDaniel around, gives him a chance to be more off guard and to learn how to produce at that spot. We saw it a little bit with Steve Henson going way back. They kind of protect him as a point guard with a veteran on the roster, and that seemed to work out pretty well. So I think David and Doug are going to be a backcourt for a few years, and maybe having more than one point is really the point, because they didn't have enough ball handlers last year. And now if you got 2 guys that can really run the point and break down a defense, you're in a pretty good situation if they're on the floor together.
I recently spoke with Clint Stewart about this, and, obviously he's David Castillo's former high school coach. And so, I think kind of the gist was just, obviously the recruiting pitch to where it's at now has changed a little bit. Like the role that was sort of envisioned for Castillo has changed after the way things went last year. And that's the same thing for Jones and Jones and Ames and Colbert, all these guys transferring out, right? That's the same sort of stuff, right? The messaging, the role, all that stuff may have changed a little bit, but, Castillo is still a big time player, right? And so maybe he's not going to be starting, or he will. I'm not sure if that's guaranteed, but Castillo's going to play. I think we talked about this on Monday, right? Fitz on the Insiders, right? Like I think he's going to be maybe to start the season in between where Day Ames and RJ Jones, where their minutes were. So 15, 20 a game is probably what I'd expect out of Castillo. But you look at it offensively, he can run the point without a doubt, and he can also shoot. So that's not going to be an issue. But when you look at how small this team might be defensively, that's where maybe some of the question marks come in. How many, can you roll out there with 3 guards that are 6'1" and under, right? That just doesn't seem like it'll, be the best option. So we'll see where he fits in on this team. But again, this goes back to the stuff we've been talking about. There are guys coming in from the portal. So David Castillo's not guaranteed a starting spot. Not that he was coming out of high school, a year ago from now, but the minutes probably aren't where he thought they'd be when he committed. And so we'll see how things pan out. I mean, redshirting it's not going to be on the table for Castillo. He's going to play. He's good. He's great. So we'll just have to kind of see where things pan out. But that was something I'd share.